Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends drink, discuss, rank, bullshit, argue, disagree, sometimes get along, and discuss a musical artist. Today we're talking Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm your host, Jason. With me is Bill,
By the way, that was Jason, like he said.
Tim,
Hi, Jason. I'm coming to you live from the 2024 Summer Olympics in beautiful downtown Paris, France. And there has been all kinds of very interesting things going on here in Paris, France. Back to you, Jason.
Hannah,
Hey,
and Ed.
I can see Gojira from your house.
All right. Real quick here, we're going to go over a couple production notes. We had a production meeting based on Ed's feedback, and we have reversed the numbers now, as you can see. This makes it easier for Ed, I suppose.
Orient your televisions accordingly.
I got my Californication colored vinyl, so that came in.
Have you spun it yet? How does it sound?
I was going to spin it, but I ended up spinning less than Jake instead, so I'll get to it.
that's
Fair enough. Let me know how it sounds.
It's 180, I think, so. All right,
Okay.
we're talking, by the way, these are our current rankings. Might have a hot take here, one hot take, but, let's continue on. So, by the way, Ed, you want to start us off with by the way?
Sure. Yes, that would be great. Fantastic. Thank you for choosing me. Total surprise. And so this album, again, it is one of my favorites. From what I've seen and heard in interviews and stuff, I believe some of the tracks were recorded around the same time as Californication. Is a follow. I get the feel just by listening to it that it was in that same vein as Californication. It's definitely a follow-up album, and it has that feel to me. It has their pop, their harmonies, and melodies, Anthony's and John's harmonizing, which is fantastic. And I mentioned it before, where like I get the same feeling when I hear them harmonize it. When I hear John and Paul. John Lennon and Paul McCartney. It's just my ear really likes the way that their voices blend together. And I'm not sure if it's a production thing, but I've heard them do it live. And that's the thing that's impressive to me. That is not just in the studio. It's something that's
always
organic.
the test, yeah.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, and from this album, by the way, the opening track, they okay. So whether you like them or not, you got to give it to the Peppers. Like they do know how to open up an album. Like they have a good idea, and it's not necessarily the same thing. It's just the vibe of the album. Like they open up the album in the vibe that leads into that album, and I've noticed that about after listening to their albums that I really enjoy. University Speaking, that was a fun one. Makes you want to pogo. Every time I hear it, makes you want to pogo dance. This is the place Dozed. Don't Forget Me is one of my top favorites from the album. The Zephyr song, I love the song. The video's a little weird, a little odd, but it's it works for them. And I really enjoy how like John's doubling up the guitars on this one. It was nice. Can't Stop. Okay, I don't know why I really like this song. Like, I mean, I do know why. Like, I love Can't Stop. I think that is one of like it's a staple of theirs. They play it live. The video is awesome. I think it's very artsy, and I like those kind of videos. I believe the director, I can't remember his name, but he's been known to do like art kind of videography, and I think that's why they picked him. Throw away your television. I heard somebody say once, I don't want every song to teach me something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want every song to mean something. Like, it's okay to have, and I know actually this song does have a lot of meaning behind it, but it's just that I like their silliness, and I like the way they pull it off sometimes. And like you have songs like cabron, and like, you know, they're fun tunes. They're meant to be fun tunes. I think. I don't think they're supposed to have like a serious meaning. And sometimes the songs are dope, you know, that you can just enjoy. Anyways, yeah. So from then on, Warm Tape, Venice Queen. That one is it's a good one too. This is another one of my favorite of theirs. This is around the time where I really enjoy the Peppers. They were like they hit that vein. They knew what they were doing together. And John had come back, and they were working well together at this point. Flea just jamming Chad back there and the drums. Great album, in my opinion.
All right. Tim, you want to go next?
Sure. So, Californication was a big album, right? And so I was definitely on the Chili Peppers train when this came out. I am a first day buyer. I still really like the first single from this album, which is the first song on this album, which is the title track of this album. That whole Card Shark, Landmine, that part's awesome, right? And there's some great guitar work going on. Like the title track is great. And then immediately after that, Flea disappears. Like, Flea did not show up to this album. Yes, there's bass on here. Is it some funky ass Flea bass that I need out of a Red Hot Chili Peppers album? Absolutely not. This is like some Steely Dan bass.
I read that this is the album, like, they kind of let Frusciante have full creative control of it, and this is mostly a Frusciante driven record as opposed to the band.
Well, and there's going to be one coming up here that they did that as well that I like a lot better. This one, you know, I agreed with everything Ed had to say. Like, this does feel like Californication Part 2. My biggest complaint, though, again, first day buyer, my first impression that I've yet to get over or get past, who knows? I just don't hear enough Flea on here. And that, like, Frusciante's doing cool stuff, especially on the first half. Like, I can get through this album to about Can't Stop. But after Can't Stop, this thing just falls apart for me. We're just stuck in mid-tempo alternative radio rock that, like, yeah, Frusciante's doing some cool stuff and Chad's laying it down. He's a great drummer, but we are kind of like starting to establish, like, Chad's only going to play one drum beat the rest of this discography.
Yeah.
If Flea doesn't show up.
Well,
Right.
So, like, this album was very disappointing for me upon release. I do like the Don't Forget. I think that's like a really interesting idea. Do I think it's a completed, like, awesome song? For this album, I guess. But for this discography, no. And then Can't Stop. I do have to mention that the guitar solo is lifted straight from Funkadelic's Maggot Brain. But, you know, that's okay. They gotta P-Funk worship. I gotta P-Funk worship. How they interpret it is fine. I'm all, you know, but I gotta point it out.
I mean,
And then, after Can't Stop, I like, this album is so forgettable for me.
I mean, they pull a lot of their stuff from Funkadelic at the end of the day, and they even mention.
Oh yeah, and it continues, and we'll get into it more as these albums go on, because I find myself, like, really looking for those moments, because those are the most interesting things to me as this discography goes on. And they, from here on out, they do get fewer and far between.
There's a reason why George Clinton was with them when they got inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely. No, they're
they know it. Everybody knows
P-Funk mob, and I will not ever take that away from them. But as a discography on their own, this thing, I mean, like, maybe we'll get to it. Maybe I think the artwork is pretty awesome.
Oh, we'll get to that.
But yeah, like the title track is the highest point of this album for me. There's a couple other little interesting things that John does in the first couple songs. But Chad's fallen into a pattern where he's kind of doing the same thing every time. Tony K has fallen into a pattern where he's kind of doing the same thing every time. And Flea doesn't even show up.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about Flea disappearing this album, but that is
and he's
true.
gone on record since saying he had no interest in these sessions, and he did the bare minimum.
See, for me, the only reason I listen to the Peppers is for Flea. So
exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go next because it's going to lead into that.
Well, take it over because I'm done. Yeah, I got nothing else on this.
The intro, it's slow and pretty. The chorus is good, but once the song kicks in the verses, it's horrible. Universally Speaking doesn't even sound like them. It's closer to an Oasis song. This Is the Place. It's not bad. The production's great, but it's not what I want from the Peppers. Dose, not a fan. Don't Forget Me, slow and boring. Not sure how Chad stayed awake for this one. The Zephyr song.
It's kind of syncopated. Like it held my interest because there's some interesting rhythmic things going, but it's not enough to carry a song.
Yeah, no, that's a snoozer. But sometimes snoozers hit you. Like right here.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with this album. It's fucking all snoozer. The Zephyr song, that was a single, totally forgettable. Can't Stop. Holy shit, I forgot Flea was in this band until I heard this one. So far, the best on the album.
Until what, like a minute 45 into the song? They've already done a chorus before you hear a bass inner.
That is definitely a high point of the album. Can't Stop. If it wasn't for Can't Stop, the whole album falls apart.
I Could Die for You.
And where's Flea on Can't Stop? And when he does show up, all he does is double John's part.
Yeah, that's I didn't need a D-rated.
Has no interest in this whatsoever.
I didn't need a D-rated Meatloaf song from the Peppers with "I Could Die for You." Midnight. This is the point where I looked ahead to see how much was left. Lord help me stay awake. Throw away your television. Nothing happens in this song. It just keeps stalling out over and over. It's a repeat, and it's getting old. Oh wait, at 2 minutes 30 seconds of a 3-minute 44-second song, something happens, but it's not enough. Caban, what the fuck is this? At least it was interesting. The only good song on the album. Tear, boring. On Mercury, honestly, not bad. It's not what I want from them, but it's okay. Minor Thing, I kind of like that one too. Those opening lyrics were pretty witty for the Peppers. It's like they realized they needed some energy on this album. Warm Tape, well, 2 good songs in a row, and that's all I could ask for because that one was annoying and awful. And Venus Queen, not a horrible closer. It fits the album. It's slow, mediocre trash, which is, I guess, kind of how this album opened up as well. Out of 16 songs, I like 3. And those 3 wouldn't make a top 20 best songs list. Maybe not even a top 40. This is the first truly awful Frusciante album I've heard.
Wait, I have a suggestion for your next production meeting. You should have a button that says fatality, and just like after you get done trashing an album, just be like fatality.
Well, we have.
I'm just saying.
I better go next then.
Yeah, bring it back up, Hannah. Bring it back up.
Are you done?
I'm done. I didn't bother with the B-sides.
Okay, so this album I felt was more melodic, better instrumentation. But they sound like they were just trying to play it safe, and they're more reserved. The songs lack energy. It was generic. It didn't grab me at all. Overall, not great, not bad, kind of boring. I don't know. When I first started listening to it, I was hopeful that it was going to be good. I got to the second song, Universally Speaking, and I thought the guitar was a little interesting. Otherwise, I basically skipped over the first song. That one was that. Dosed was the only song I actually liked from this album. And I know that a lot of you guys probably didn't like that. I think it just sounded different than anything that they've kind of done before. And that's why I liked it, because it was very different than a lot of their previous stuff. But it was the only one that I liked. I don't know. I didn't care. It was just, it felt like every song was the same tempo, and my takeaway was that they're not very good at doing slow songs. They're good at doing
It's all
upbeat.
very radio safe tempo
Yeah,
wise.
very safe, very
Yeah.
reserved. Nothing exciting going on. Very slow, very boring.
You guys mentioned Californication, right? Part 2. Yeah, it's like the second half of Californication. The part I don't like, they made an entire
Right.
album of.
Yeah. It's like the stuff that wasn't good enough to make it on Californication.
The B-sides, that's right. The
No,
B-sides.
man,
Yeah.
some of them B-sides they should have put on there for Californication.
All right. Well, and then.
And
let's
really,
see.
I like the B-sides from Californication more than I like most of this album.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
the stuff
pretty much.
that wasn't good enough to make Californication is still better.
Right, and like I just most of my notes on all these songs are like another slow song, yay. I don't know, it didn't really work for me. In Throwaway, I wrote, oh, there's Flea finally. Throw away your TV. That was the first time I actually heard Flea, and I kind of thought that song was gonna stand out, and then it ended up just sounding the same as the rest of it, and didn't really. I just by 2/3 of the way through this album, I just wanted it to end because it was just the same thing over and over again, and it was really like a chore to listen to the rest of it. The last couple songs, I was like, man, this just feels like filler. It feels like they're dragging it out. I just want it to end. So I guess it's safe to say this is not one of my favorites.
Bill, bring us home.
Oh, I'll bring this bitch back. All right, 2002, height of alt radio rock in my mind,
Yeah.
and you can tell that is
Agreed.
present on this album. If anyone knows anything about me with this show, I'm all about that alt radio rock. So we're starting off this album with "By the Way," solid intro. Can feel some of those influences coming in. And yeah, I thought it was actually for them a decent opener. Not best, but up there. Universally speaking, top song contender, potentially Other Side Part 2. It has a different feel to it at some points, but I like some of the instruments and some of the stuff going on in there. It's this clean sounding song. No, you don't got the bass in there like the rest of this album. I think there's another album coming up though that the lack of bass is even more apparent in than this one. And I will get to that now.
I can't wait.
I will mention that when we get to it. This is the place. All right. Nothing new, but I thought I kind of like the vocal tone and the stuff going on with the singers on it. Potential top song contender. Dosed, thought it was a pretty song, again like the other ones. Not as dynamic as the last ones, which is why I don't have it as top song contender. But I thought it was still a solid song. Don't Forget Me. Slower, not very imaginative. It just kind of drags. Zephyr Song, probably their worst single. At least on the album, if not in their discography. Was not a fan of it.
Well, I can think of some worse ones in the discography.
It's for sure
We
on the
haven't gotten
album.
to them yet.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Well, yeah, there's some really bad singles coming up.
But I really do think the video. I'm not like I like the Zephyr song, but if you think the song is bad, I think the video.
The video
makes it
doesn't
weird
fit.
enough.
Is it
makes
a better
weird
video
enough
than
that
Knock Me Down?
No,
it makes it's weird enough that it makes it interesting.
it's just a psychedelic trip though for the video. Like, it's
Yeah,
nothing-
but you gotta put yourself back in those days.
Oh,
man.
Sin.
Back
I
in the
didn't
days of
watch the
2002 when
video.
I was drinking, my sippy cup at daycare.
Just
I didn't
keep-
watch the video, but Zephyr
reading.
Song did
Keep
not
reading,
stand
Will.
out to me. I was like,
Or
oh,
Bill,
generic
sorry.
pop rock.
Too good. Then we get to Can't Stop. One of their biggest singles in modern day.
That was a single? Shit.
Can't
Yeah.
Stop, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's one
That
of the main ones.
Huge.
I wasn't
It's
listening
on
to
the
the radio in
radio.
2002 at all.
That's all I remember.
That was actually one of the first music videos I remember watching. I thought it was kind of a cool, fun music video. Yeah, it's simplistic, but it was just it's the band. It looks they're just having fun screwing around.
Oh, you mean like the Knock Me Down video that you trash talked on the Mother's Milk video?
Where they're just
No.
dancing around in a
No.
warehouse in the
Yeah.
bicycle
Nope.
shorts.
Nope, it's better. It's better than Knock Me Down.
Okay.
It's better than that music video. Yeah, I'll stand by that statement. Anyways, but musically, I like the build up.
bold
I like
statement.
the changing vocals. Yeah, it's a bold statement. We all know where Mother's Milk ranked for me album wise. We'll see.
No,
where
I
this one ranks
understand.
for
I
you.
understand.
I Could Die for You. It's simple, but I can kind of feel some emotions coming through in parts of it. Just kind of like, it's a sad. I don't want to say necessarily a love song, but it's a sad romantic type song when you really look at it. Midnight. It's okay. It pales in comparison to everything that's come up till this point. Throw Away Your Television. All right. I like the vibe of it. It's kind of a dull start going as it goes with it, but it's okay. Cabron, interesting guitar start. The lyrics overall I felt were pretty meh at best. Tear, all right. The guitar bridge I thought was kind of different. They had a keyboard I believe playing. I could be wrong on that, but I thought that was again something different. A little bit of experimentation never hurt. It's more experimentation than we're going to see, in the next 20 years. Not bad. On Mercury, is that an accordion? Okay. Could be cool if that was. Initially, I was wondering if that was a closer and the rest were bonus tracks. Obviously, I'm wrong, and that was not the closer. I thought that was still a decent song. Minor Thing. Guitar solo I felt was too basic, really. Nothing new. The instrumental to close I thought was kind of nice on it, though. Warm Tape. Getting some country vibes with it. I'm about it. I thought it was kind of cool. And Venice Queen. Yeah, not as exciting to end the album. Didn't
Better
get
than
to any-
Yertle the Turtle?
No. Yertle the Turtle Supreme. I mentioned that when we did Yertle the Turtle.
At least Yertle the Turtle was interesting.
Damn
It
right
didn't
it
have
was.
to be good. It was at least interesting.
Yertle the Turtle's still holding strong for my favorite closer.
Yertle the
And Johnny.
Turtle.
Yertle the Turtle. Look at that turtle go, baby.
And
Yeah.
Johnny. They're still holding the title.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah, I
thought.
think Johnny does win it just by a little narrow margin. But Yertle the Turtle's great.
Yep. So yeah, that's why I thought I definitely get. Flea's not as present. So when I say not as present,
Yeah,
I mean really he's
not there.
absent. There's not much bass on her, which I love bass, but with how alt rock
it's cool.
and alt pop rock they went, I thought it was okay though. Like you wouldn't. It's not.
It was
When I first heard "Can't Stop," I didn't think it was a Red Hot Chili Pepper song. I didn't, but I thought it was still a good, solid song.
I'm so glad I don't have to guess this one.
I don't know. I think it seems pretty straightforward.
I know what I would think, except for Bill. I don't know where I'd put it for Bill. Everybody else I think I'd know.
You'd be wrong for mine.
Good thing Hannah's got a guess.
I know, right? All right. Shit, I don't think any of us really cared for this one too much, except for Ed, really. I think, I'll say Ed's probably putting it near the top. Not your favorite, but close to it.
So what, number 2?
I'm gonna say number 3.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is why I don't do this. Oof.
All right. For Tim, I think you're gonna put this near the bottom.
Absolutely. I'd rather listen to One Hot Minute.
Oh, bad, huh? Are you gonna put it at the very bottom? Is it last? Yeah. Yeah, it's last.
No spoilers. That might hold.
Well, yeah, you didn't have as much. You didn't really have too much to say good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather listen to One Hot Minute.
All right, Jason, you're probably putting it near the bottom too. Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna be last for you, but pretty close. Second to last.
Nope.
No.
I would rather go back to the first two. They were at least funny and interesting and fun. There was nothing funny or fun or interesting on this album. It was a slog to get through back in 2002, and it's a slog to get through for this review.
Yeah, it was. I was like, this is snooze fest.
It never ended.
All right, Bill. You didn't really have.
He talked pretty highly
You talked a
of
little.
it.
Yeah, he had much better things to say about it. I still don't think it's near the top, though. I think it's going to be like somewhere in the middle, upper middle. Let's say, shoot, I don't know.
Throw a number out. He'll just say, "Is it?"
Well, let's just put it like fifth.
Incorrect.
Yeah. Okay.
Give her a lower or a higher.
Higher.
Yeah, up or down.
Higher.
Higher? You would rank it higher.
Yes.
I don't think it's in your top three. Is it fourth?
Higher.
You put it in your top three so far?
Yes.
Oh.
You like it
Wow,
more than
okay.
Californication,
Wow.
Yes, I did.
but
I
not
do.
more than Blood Sugar. No,
There
you
ain't
hated
no
Blood
around the
Sugar.
world on fucking By the Way.
Wow.
I bet he likes it more than Blood
Wow.
Sugar because he hated that album.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Interesting. Okay.
Better than Freaky Styley?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Really?
Damn right.
I'd even put Freaky Styley over that motherfucker.
Nope. I love this album. By far had the most top song contenders for me up till this point. It was more alt rocky though. Like it makes sense. Like it's not as much funk going on. You've got more alt rock
There's
stuff.
not a lot of anything going on.
There's not as much bass, granted, which is the drawback of it. But
Yeah.
compared to a lot of the others, like for me, I really like this album.
When I think Chili Peppers, the first thing I think of is Flea's bass.
Yeah. Exactly. That is the Peppers. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but also like you gotta admit that it's I don't know, like you can see them trying to break out of a sound here, and I don't know if they're trying to be more commercial. I'm not saying that Flea's bass
Yeah,
is not.
definitely more commercial is kind of what it
Yeah.
sounds
I mean, this
like.
was a popular record. I mean, I know a lot of people like this piece of shit, but it's just
I'm
not
not
the
saying
Peppers
I'm
that
not
I
saying that Flea's bass is not a staple, but I think what John was trying to do from listening to it, is focus more on the rock side. Hendrix, I hear a lot of Hendrix here. I heard like a lot like influence things like that. More than
Well, that's gonna be,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be a hallmark to the rest of these albums that we go through.
yeah, exactly. These are John words. Yeah, because I mean they don't really get back to it. Even the Dream Canteen, once we talked about that album, they bring it back more then than they have here. This is completely non-funk. You know what I
we'll
mean?
get to that one.
Well,
let's,
sure, but even then, they kind of. I mean, again, we'll get into it. They go more disco than funk at some points too. So
Yeah, they do. They do. That's true.
Yes, they do.
So,
I mean,
Hannah-
let's pause to think about like
All
what
right.
I like radio rock. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah, you do.
Well, yeah. If
And
you
I
if you have,
like novelty as long as it's fun and not boring. And this
yeah,
was
if you have an
boring
ear for
novelty.
radio rock, radio music, this album you're gonna eat it up. It's just how it works.
It knows what ear I want to listen to. Like as someone who listened to a shit ton of radio rock, like that's this album.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I literally
Wait.
wrote that I feel like these songs were made for radio. Like it wasn't.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would put this one probably. I'm gonna put it between their self-titled and Uplift Mofo.
Man,
I'm gonna put it right there.
that's an interesting spot.
It's only because I have so much like distaste for those two that I can't put anything below them.
I thought I had a distaste. Last week I thought I had a distaste.
If they were just a little bit better musically, this album would have been at the end.
The color coding will definitely tell all
Its
for
only
this discography.
saving grace is that there is musical talent apparent on it in the guitar. That is its only saving grace.
All right, well, up next is a biggie, Stadium Arcadium. We also have a treat. I've asked everybody to, if you could come up with a 14-track, if you had to slim it down, what would your 14-track Stadium Arcadium would look like? So we'll get into that after we review the album, but like, subscribe, help us out. We need all the help we can get. Any good editors out there? Hit us up. And be safe, make good decisions. Like not listening to By the Way.
Or listen to By the Way.
Divisive band. That's why we're doing it.